Hi, my name is David Saylor. What we're going to review is printing layers and special inks with a Mimaki UV flatbed printer. Now the great thing about a Mimaki UV printer is you can print layers because it's instant dry. It prints on top of your material. So you can print as many layers of ink as you want to do a texture or to do special effects. Let's talk about the special inks. Now the special inks in the printer are this. It's white, clear, and primer. Those are your special inks. And then you have your 4 colors or your 6 colors depending on your configuration. Now the difference between layers and passes is this. For example, this is a reverse print optimal backlit piece. We have 3 layers of ink here. But with a Mimaki flatbed printer, you can only print 2 layers in one pass. So one pass meaning print the full bed and then return to the origin and print another pass. And the great thing is you can do as many passes as you want because the media stays still and your carriage is moving. This way, if you wanted to do 400 passes, right on, go ahead, have at it, do whatever you want to do. But you can do it. But it's different than layers. So with a Mimaki printer, you can print 2 layers in one pass. And those layers include this. You could print your special ink first, primer, white, or clear, and then your color. Or you could print your color first and then your special ink. Because of the way the special ink cures, you cannot print special ink and special ink in one layer. To cure white ink, there's a different profile, curing profile than to print clear ink. And there's a different curing profile to print colored ink. Now, when you're printing with the flatbed printer, it appears that all layers are printing, the 2 layers are printing at the same time. They are not. So for doing a color white color application, such as this one, now this was from the roll-fed printer. This is just a picture of the roll-fed printer where I was able to get a good shot of the different layers. You can see here the yellow is printing first, and then the white, a small white strip, and then the color. So it is laying down 3 layers on the roll-fed printer in one pass, but you can see it's only laying the color first, and then the white, and then the color again. Now this is great when you're using clear and primer, and white, because you don't want to print the primer with the clear, or the color. You want to print the primer underneath between your print material and your ink. So again, 2 layers on a Mimaki flatbed printer in one pass. Now with the JFX 200, here's a shot of my print heads. The top here is the back of the printer and the front here is the front. Now as you can see, the print heads are staggered. It's CMYK times 2, and then the white clear primer special ink print head is staggered. So if you're printing color first and then white, it's going to start at the front of the printer and print forward. If you're printing white first and then color, it's going to print at the back of the printer and come towards the front. Now check out this print head, right? This printer is 4 years old, and you see how clean it is. If I ever come into your shop and I see you have a JFX 200, I'm going to take a look at that print head and make sure it's as clean as mine. Because this is how you make money with a Mimaki printer. You keep that print head clean. You can see this one is pretty clean. Now for the 6042 and 7151, they have staggered print heads as well. And really what we're concerned with is not so much the staggered print head, but the LED light curing profile, which is automatically built into the firmware of the printer and built into Rasterlink. This is something that you don't deal with at all. This is done with the printer. If we want to print clear gloss, you're going to have one curing profile, and clear matte, you will have a different curing profile. Now, what's really important to remember with the JFX series of printers is lamp position. And this is in your owner's manual. So you're going to decide what strategy you're going to use or what layers you're going to print in the beginning. And then always remember to change your lamp position. If you don't change your lamp position, your product will not cure properly. The second thing I want to do, and this is just a tip, when you're printing clear inks, on the Mimaki.com, not Mimaki USA, the global site, Mimaki.com, there is a clear ink printing guide. And this tells you what resolutions you can print with what clear ink type, either gloss or matte. This is crucial to setting up your files. Now, as we walk through this, what you're going to find is this. There's one workflow for everything you do on a Mimaki flatbed printer. I'm going to show you one workflow. So whatever type of sign you want to create, you're going to follow this workflow from your production manager, your design, to production or press. And everybody knows what's going on. So we're going to have success. We're going to keep that Mimaki printer going back and forth, printing and making us money. Now I have notes up here on the screen, so that's why I'm looking up on the screen. So to print clear matte and clear gloss in raster length, this is for my press folks. Under Job Attributes in Properties, then click on this tab. You'll be able to change it from gloss to matte in the clear ink. And the reason why you can print gloss and matte with the same ink is there's different curing profiles. And that's how it works to ensure that the ink is cured properly. Now, I love you to check out my Sign and Graphics Solution Guide. There's 22 unique applications for UV printing. This I really created for the roll-fed printer, but it's 100% applicable to any Mimaki flatbed printer. And it will give you tips and tricks and ideas on how to make better products for your customers. So let's take a look at the first one. I always jump in with an application. We're going to take a look at the first application. And what we want to create here is spot gloss. So we want to have this pancake image and throw spot gloss on top of it. Now your designer is going to create two different files. The first one will be the spot gloss file, and the second one would be the color print file. So how do we do this? We're going to set up layers. We're going to change that black to print clear gloss. That's your production or press guy is going to do that. And then he's going to compose them together so the printer will print color and clear gloss, one pass, two layers. That's why I want to show this. This is a one pass, two layer job. Hit print. It'll pass the bed of the printer once and you're done. The next application we're going to look at, this is creating the ultimate backlit image. And I reverse print this on a piece of clear acrylic. And this is to get the ultimate color for backlit image. So remember, with our UJF and JFX printers, we can only print two layers in one pass. So how are we going to do this? We're going to set this job up to print color first and then white. That's pass number one. And then it's going to retract and print the second layer of color pass two. Now what's the benefit of that? Lights off, you're going to get great color, great look. Lights on when you light it from behind. Now the light is going to go through two layers of ink, the white opacifying layer, and that's going to give you a really deep, dark, and rich backlit image. This is absolutely the ultimate backlit. What's the next application? Ooh, the next application is a two-sided print on clear. This is where the fun happens right here. Again, we're going over layers and passes to help you understand different layers and different passes. So to do a two-sided graphic, we have to do 3 passes. So my first pass on a Mimaki flatbed printer would be color and then white. My second pass would be my blockout layer, which I consider in my head as color, and then white. So we're going to have 2 passes of color and white. And then our third pass is going to be our 5th layer, which is going to be a layer of color. And that's how you're going to achieve this two-sided graphic. Now you can tape down a piece of vinyl if you'd like on your flatbed printer and do a two-sided window sign, right on. Or if you're printing on clear acrylic and you wanted a two-sided sign, you want to hang the sign and you want it to have different images from either side. Or you could have the same image, but it's a two-sided sign. Now when you go into the two-sided sign, the next thing, and I'm just breezing over this is more of a roll-fed application, but I really want everybody to understand the layers and the passes. So this, what you can do here, is print your perf. I designed these holes in my design software. This is a 2-pass job, 3 layers. So I printed color first in reverse, and then white, right? Because CMYK printing always supposes that your base material is white, and then I printed black. This is how you can actually print your perf. It's pretty exciting. Let's jump into the fun and exciting part, creating texture with Mimaki flatbed printers. Now this is the process that's going to build the fastest, create the texture easiest, and it's going to stay within your workflow. All those other things that we did, it's going to be the same exact workflow for creating texture. Here's the difference. So your Mimaki, let's take your Mimaki JFX 200. With this printer, you have 3 print heads. I have 2 print heads that are CMYK, so that's CMYK times 2. And I have 1 print head that's used for my special inks. So what we're going to do is, anything that you want to have texture or build depth to, we're going to set that color to 100% cyan, 100% magenta, 100% black, and 100% yellow. Then your production guy, if the sign calls for it, is going to marry it with white. And what's that going to do? Each pass on your printer, each time the printer goes across, we are laying down as much ink as humanly possible. So we have 8 channels of color, CMYK, and then we have 2 channels of our white or any special color. Now that's laying down 10 channels of ink. And then we're going to take that and we're going to do some overprints. Typically in this configuration, I only want to do 5 overprints at one time. Now why? Because 5 overprints will result in about a 0.5 millimeter of build. And we want to be very, very careful with the print head. So once we do that 0.5 millimeters of build, we want to raise the print head on the printer a 0.5 millimeter, or how much build we got. We do not ever want to crash that print head. So we're going to build 0.5 millimeters, we're going to raise the print head. Our head gap on a JFX 200 is only 1.5 millimeters. Now using the UJF printer or 7151 or 6042, it has automatic head height adjustment. The laser is going to see that and raise the head height so you don't have to worry about it. But with the JFX 200, we don't have that option. Here's what you can do to get everybody working on the same page. Production manager, design, pre-press, production or press. I call it production. A lot of people call it press. Your designer is really the gatekeeper. They're the ones, and the production manager is really the gatekeeper. They're the ones who are going to see the job coming in, and you're going to have to determine what layers you want your press operator running the printer at. So when you create the file, you're going to create a different file for each layer. Let's take a look at the first sign. Let's take a look at this sign. Now, this one, again, this is the same as the other one, where the reverse side I printed black, and then the top side I have white colored icon and white dots. So the first file, you're just going to name it number 1, build with white. And then our pre-press guy is going to take that file and he's going to open it in RasterLink and he's going to select that file, and we will have set up for him favorites built. So for that one, the favorite will be build with white. And then you go to your arrangement or your general print settings. So you're going to tell it how many signs you want and what the gap between each sign is. It's that simple. Let's take a look at our next sign. This one, we used hidden dots. I call it hidden dots because the back I printed black and the build I did in black. But because the dots are black and the back is black, you can't see the dots. This is kind of a unique application. It's easy to do. It's easier than just doing a clear dot build. Very easy. So we're going to look at it and we're going to print the back side in black, and then the top build layer, we are only going to do it with color ink. We're not going to add our white ink in there because I don't want the dots white. I just want the text white. So we're going to do our build with just the color, and then we're going to add white on top. Again, this is absolutely positively the fastest way that you're going to create texture and braille dots with a Mimaki JFX 200 or JFX 600 flatbed printer. Let's look at the next application. The next application is we need clear dots, okay? We need clear dots on this sign. So our designer is going to create the file. We're going to print on the back side. We're going to print color and white on the back side. Then our production guy is going to flip it over, and we have to print clear dots only. You know, I've heard so many people and I've seen so many sign shops as they're going to say this is colored, so I'm going to print this as colored and use all inks to do the build, and then I'm going to print my clear dots separately. It's dumb. Don't do it that way. You're going to have to take the time to print the clear dots anyway. So I did this entire build in clear ink. I do 3-4 overprints at a time in clear until I achieve the proper height. And then I run a second pass, if you will, after I build my texture, and I'll run white and color. And I realize this is gray and you're printing on clear, but if you want to have an accurate color, you have to print white underneath it. CMYK printers all assume I am printing on white. This process that we've reviewed is the same process for everything you're going to do on this JFX 200 printer. Whether it be a texture build, the optimal backlit, whatever it is, you can follow this exact same workflow. We will give you the tips and the settings for each printer, UJF 6042, 7151, JFX 200, JFX 600. We'll give you the proper favorite setting to build texture. And all you'd have to do is choose that favorite setting and you're off to the races, you're printing texture. Let's look at something a lot more fun than the braille dots. I don't find that fun. It's not exciting. It's just dots, big deal. They're basic signage. But let's look at this. This is my hero medal. So this medal is from a company in Connecticut. I got it on Amazon. It's called Express Medals. It's just a blank. And what I did here is I printed the texture. So let's take a look at how we're going to build that texture. Our first pass or our first setting on the printer is going to be build. We've set our color to 400% ink, and we're going to just combine that with the white, and we're going to give it 5 or 6 overprints. Here's a tip. To get different heights, because in this hero medal there are different heights in it. So the highest point I set to 100C, 100M, 100Y, 100K. The next lower point I set to 75C, 75M, 75Y, 75K. Now if you want half the height, we set it to 50, 50, 50, 50. So that's going to give us a nice variable texture that we control 110% on this metal, okay, on your build image. It's awesome. It's easy to do. Then my next pass, if you will, I set this up to print. Once I had my build done and I was happy with the build height, we set it up to print color and clear gloss in the next pass. So the next layers I print in one pass, color, clear gloss. And if you really want to pummel it, go ahead and hit it with a couple of clear glosses on top of that. It's going to make it extremely durable. This is going nowhere. This is LH100 ink. It's going nowhere. I've had these printed for a few years now, and they bang around in my sample kit. But that's the hero metal. Let's take a look at something else. Okay, so this right here, this is just an imprinted tin. That's all it is. I just have raised texture on there. You tell me, how are you guys going to print that? What's your recipe? Now for the next sections for doing texture, we have a design section, which is strictly for the designer, how to set the files up in Illustrator or CorelDRAW. And I have another session that is for production or press. So how to take those files from your designer and print it on Rasterlink to your Mimaki flatbed printer. My name is Dave Saylor, and I do how-to and trainings for sign and solution professionals. It's YouTube at PG Sign Video. If you like this video, click that like button. If you want to share it with somebody, go ahead and give it a share.